So, High Magistrate Smith Song Mean, huh? This man is just, wow, he's a real piece of work. He just could not keep his pants on, it seems. I mean, neglecting his wife so he could get a courtesan pregnant? Wow, what kind of man does that? Please tell me you feel the same. It's awful. I know, right? The idea of a woman living only for her man is awful. Just awful. But there's one way to make that worse, for the man to just ignore her entirely. Can you imagine living like that? Just being kept away in the women's quarters with nobody to care about you in any way? I don't think her marriages was worse than mine, but at least I had something. And didn't have to worry about scandals about to blow up in the family's face. There's one thing that's good about being the Emperor's consort, I guess. So all he ever paid attention to was women who weren't his wife, and all of his assorted business. Here, I'll show you what I mean that is. I'll show you what all that is. Looking at this, it feels like he spent more time with his brothers than his wife. I think this is new. My husband was out of the house, as he usually is during the day, so our servant fetched me instead to tell me that someone was at the door. I was in the middle of a conversation with Mute, but had no idea how I was expected to respond to that. What do? I asked her. She just responded in that usual shocking, crass manner of hers. Gee, I don't know. You could try answering the door, maybe? Just the thought, of course. So I excused her and went to do that. But with a great degree of nervousness, I had never done this before. At the door was my youngest brother-in-law, Sang Jung, who I had only met a few times before. Although husband mentioned to him often enough, usually in the same breath as calling him an irresponsible drunk, seeing him did nothing short of compound my anxieties. Hello, sir, I stammered. So, Jean, he responds with unbelievable volume, it's great to see you again. Hope you don't mind by dropping by unannounced. I just figured I haven't seen my new niece yet, and it's been forever since I've been in the old house. So, well, I thought I'd stop by, say hello to your daughter. I don't know. Sorry, my husband isn't home right now. Maybe you should come back later, I said, shifting uncomfortably. Oh, please, be a good girl, let me come see her. I'm really not here for your husband. This was awkward. I didn't exactly want to turn away my brother-in-law, especially if he just wanted to see baby me and he, but this was hardly proper. It really wouldn't be my place. Sorry, you'll have to wait until my husband gets back, I trailed off. He rolled his eyes and smiled at me. Really? Come now, you're a smarter woman than that, he said, and he put his hand on my shoulder. This has now moved on to incredibly uncomfortable. You really value his authority that much? He's my husband, I responded. What else could I say? He replied, Wow, no wonder he walks all over you, if that's how you treat him. You have got a lot to learn about dealing with men, dear Sojin, especially my brother. But come on now, this is a bad conversation for a doorway. Can't I see my niece? I hear she's rather adorable. I took a deep breath. I'm sorry, I said, trying to be as bold as I could. I'm going to have to go now. Sorry. I started to close the door on him. All right, I understand. I'll talk to him myself later. Don't worry, I won't mention this visit. Do say hello to her mother for me, though, he said, and then left. My heart nearly skipped a beat when he said those words. I stood there in the doorway for a good while, stunned. Even now, I still have much to think about. Not simply his knowledge of our child's true mother, a matter of great secrecy, but also of what he said about my husband. Perhaps his words were true. Well, you've seen pretty much everything that matters about the Smith family now. I'm still just parsing this all myself, you know. Most of it's new to me, too. I mean, when I was alive, I didn't even know the Smith family existed. Well, maybe Jay Hua mentioned them once. I don't really remember. It's been 600 years, but I don't think she did. I really wish I'd known about Sojin at the time. I really, really do. So what do you think? Are you satisfied with that overview? Oh, well, I'm really sorry. What were you looking for? Is it just because their story ends abruptly? Yeah, I guess it does. Well, I can't really do anything about that now. I'm really, really sorry. But that's where it ends. As horrible as it is to say, I don't think anyone was really surprised when brother-in-law Sang Jung was found dead. Nobody asked how, nor has anyone so much as mentioned the word drinking in my presence since. Even the ordinarily extremely candid Mute has been entirely somber. Mother-in-law, I understand why she's been taking it so hard, and have been working hard to stay well out of her way while the funeral preparations are being settled. But Mute? I had no idea they were so close. Yet in our last conversation, I could have sworn she was on the verge of tears. I've never seen such a reaction from her in all my time here. As for myself, I have an awful confession I can make to no one. I have put on a somber face, acting as though I'm sad as the rest, since that is, of course, what is expected. But it pains me to admit that I'm not. It is not as if I don't find it tragic, and I feel bad for thinking this, but I didn't know him at all. How would I possibly bring myself to feel as upset as I'm expected to be? Oh, her button changed with her outfit. That's cool. Kyung Sam? I looked through the block that was locked down, but I'm not really seeing anything of note that's related to him. Where there's that one letter from Song Min that was addressed to Kyung Sam's father, Dai Ho. You already read that, though. Basically, it just doesn't really seem like he was very important, or really ever did anything but complain about the drama in Smith Song Min and Oh So Jin's house. I guess all the other noble families were pretty much as dumb as mine ever were. That's pretty depressing. Alright, well I guess that's all we're gonna get out of her. What is this? You talk to Mute? I don't know what she told you, but you really shouldn't listen to her. All she ever did was gossip, and I'm certain she hasn't changed a bit since back then. Please don't trust her. She just spins everything to make everyone look bad, no matter what. Please promise. Thank you. I really appreciate that. At least you give me a fair chance. Oh, well, how nice of her. Okay, yeah, so here's what a family tree is supposed to look like. None of that weird cluttered mess that Hyune did. But here's a few notes of my own about some of the women that you might actually care about. Did we already read that? I think we did. Okay, let's go back to Mute. Well, you've seen most everything about the Smith family now, except the most scandalous stuff. I'm sort of wondering what you think about their fall. Yeah, I know, but after Sang Jung died, well, with him gone, it's no surprise things fell apart. Anyway, regardless of whether you think it should have happened or not, it was a pretty terrible thing to happen to what used to be the greatest noble family. And certainly they didn't deserve to be first brought down by the Kim family, then murdered by the Kim daughter. Maybe it's... I don't want to say that Sang Jung was lucky, that's not true. If he were around, maybe things would have turned out better. He always had a way of making things perfect. Still, I'd rather he be killed by his own habit than by that girl. He deserved better than what he got, but it would have been even worse if not for that. I guess what I'm saying. I hadn't really thought about it that way before. Really, were he around, that's totally what he'd say. Practically imagine his voice even. The drink will inevitably kill you, and women'll inevitably kill you, so I'd rather take the one that isn't always bitter. Or something like that. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's enough of that. Would you like to see some of the more scandalous stuff from the Smith family now? Okay then. Oh, this isn't for the faint of heart, but you're going to love this. You will not believe what Smith Sang-min's wife was doing behind his back. I'm warning you right now, it does get a little bit gross, but, well, wow, just see it for yourself. Okay, let's see... I think you're doing block 3. Man, reading that, I can't believe that's her. She used to be so timid. Thinking of me as having a shocking, crass manner, or being afraid of her brother-in-law at the door? Well, it's all what I expected from her at the time. She just changed a whole lot as she got older. Well, honestly, maybe not as much as I thought. She might have gotten bolder behind her husband's back, but in front of him, that never really changed much. Well, what do you think? Should she have listened to Sang Jung about being less deferential to her husband? Yeah, I'm sure you would say that. You're not only outside of home, you're off in the middle of space. Alright, chill out, Jesus. Well, let me guess then. You're the same way with your own husband, right? Well, that's good for you. He's probably a good man and you're lucky. Sojin's husband wasn't, though. And well, fine, that might not be strictly the best way to act. Come on, be realistic. Besides, he was just her brother-in-law. There's no harm in that. Either way, well, she did change in some ways. Would you like me to show you what I'm talking about there? I mean, just a warning, it's some pretty scandalous stuff she was involved in. Do you want to see? Okay, then. Oh, this isn't for the faint of heart, but I think you'll see what I mean. Yeah, we said that already. It's definitely a pretty big fall for her. You'll see what I mean soon enough. It's none of your damn business, okay? I'm not going to justify myself to you. Oh, yes, him. Would you like to hear how I feel about Smith Kyung Sam? Let me be as clear as I possibly can. Fuck that guy. Did I read all this already? I know I shouldn't say that about a man, not at least of all a dead one, but I don't care. He didn't have any respect for the dead either, so as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't deserve any from me. There's nothing more even related to him that you need to see. All he ever did was complain about the main branch and trash the good name of a good man. That's all you need to know. Look, you already know what I think of Smith Kyung Sam. He was a piece of shit. Don't listen to a word he says. That isn't what Smith Sang Jung was like at all. His death was a tragedy, and for a lesser man to make light of it, it's appalling is what it is. Can you believe the nerve? Fine, Sang Jung never married, and he liked to drink, maybe a little more than was good for him. But he was a great man, clever, charming, filial, and respectful. Look, he wasn't perfect. He was as damn close as you could get, though. Do you want to know what he was really like? Don't listen to a single word from the likes of Kyung Sam. Here's a more fitting description. I've added some logs that actually do him justice. You should really read them. So, like, you've talked to her a fair bit, right? What do you think of Hyun A? I know, right? Completely monstrous. Did you tell about the whole mass murdering thing? No. Oh, I don't really know anything about this Kim Young-suk. I only know about men who are actually of some importance. I don't think I can help you there, sorry. Okay, yeah, no. Abased? Seriously? What a complete and utter misrepresentation. In case it wasn't obvious, that's a completely liberal and messed up translation. Yes, it's a common phrase, but that's not what it means. What it really just means is male superiority. That's all. Fine, it's a cliche that kind of states the obvious, so what? I don't know where she's pulling this women are abased nonsense from. It's stupid. Yeah, what a mess. Leave it to her to clutter things up with useless names. There's no surprise coming from someone as childish as her, of course. Oh my goodness, Zoe. Yes, my darling. How can I help you? What? There you are. There you are. Purr. Hello. Hello. Hello, my darling. Hello. I know, right? No matter how you look at it, that's true for sure. Watching a good woman fall like that. What, Kaylee? You get the idea, I'm sure. Anyway, that's all I want you to keep in mind. Stories like that, even the messed up ones. Here's the reason why the last one dates to the year 322. It's not that their affair came to a conclusion, it's that they both just died. So yeah, even if it's one hell of a story, it's one that ended completely abruptly. Just remember that, alright? Alright, let's go back and talk to Hyun-A. Kaylee. Alright, I guess it is kind of late. I'll feed you. Hold on. Alright, let's see all the scandalous stuff. Oh, so you've read those then. Not that it was seen appropriate for women to spend time with anyone but other women or anything, but, why are you showing this to me? To hear what you think. Well, why do you ask? Do you, approve of that sort of thing? I see. Well, it's when she said she wanted to be seduced, I can definitely really understand that. Especially if it's someone, especially if it was you. Especially if it was someone I really liked. That sounds like a good thing to me. Not that I could really imagine doing that with any of my servants, but geez, why are we even talking about something like this embarrassing? Can we please talk about something else? I said I didn't really want to talk about this more anymore, right? Um, I don't remember which one's mute added and which one's Yune added. I think we looked at all these already. Did we look at these too? Oh, actually, this reminds me. You know that courtesan who, did those scandalous things with Oh So-jin? Well, it turns out that she actually did cross paths with young Suk. I thought maybe you might be interested in that. Ah, so I just added a log about her, written by him. Wonder if his wife ever heard about it. Sorry, I'll let you get back to what you wanted to talk about now. I just thought that might be something you were interested in. The incident occurred right as I was leaving the magistrate's office after a late night of going through some of his paperwork. The corridor lights had long ago dimmed, and the office should have been empty, so the horse slinked against the wall right outside it definitely stood out. She was small and looked very young, and obviously she was dressed like any commoner, with her arms covering otherwise exposed breasts and all. I won't lie and say she wasn't attractive, she certainly was. I'm sure she's very good at her role. Hi, the horse said, approaching me. You're Kim Young-suk, right? I said yes. My name is Hana, she said, offering her hand to shake. It's an honor to meet you. I didn't take it and told her that it wasn't appropriate to be talking to her now. Ah, but I've got a message from Smith Song-min that he really insisted I deliver, the horse said, moving closer. Can I come inside? I said no, of course. Even then, I could tell exactly where this was going. I was not pleased. Please? He was really insistent, she said, putting her hand on my face and smiling. I slapped it away instantly and shoved her into the wall. Tell him I said no, I snapped at the whore and walked away. What? So? You had your snack, what do you want? She chased after me for a while, but eventually she seemed to realize she wasn't going to get to me, and gave up. She was gone by the time I got home. I still can't believe he actually thought that would work. Now I want to know more about what the High Magistrate Association with that whore even was. Alright, let's go back to Mute and check out that one new thing, and then we'll return back to Hyune and ask Mute's questions. Question 1. How are you doing? Well, to be honest, nervous. I'm really, really nervous. It's just you're the first person I've talked to in so long. I'm really happy about that. But, well, I'm exposing a lot. I know you promised to trust me and all, so thanks. It's just, this is all really new to me. But it's good. I'm glad. I wouldn't be so nervous if I weren't happy you were there to listen. Question 2. How do you feel about me? Wow, there's a tough question. I mean, you can... What? You seem like a really good person. I think I'm in love. I mean, I think I could call you a friend. You seem like a really good listener. I like that. Does that answer your question? Okay, good. Not that I really understand why Mute was asking. Why don't you treat me with more respect? What? Jeez, my word, what are you talking about? When have I ever not treated you with respect? I don't know what's wrong with that awful AI, and I definitely don't know what's wrong with you. Why would you even say something like that? Jeez. What do you really look like? Well, about a few thousand lines of assembly code and a few gigabytes of memories, I suppose, sitting on a hard drive somewhere. I don't really know what that looks like. Oh, I guess you actually meant before I died, don't you? Well, I was 13 years old when I woke up and 16 when I died. So, well, I looked younger, but I wasn't really all that different. Just shorter, and I guess, smaller in other places too. Everyone always did say I was pretty, though, even when I was really young. So just, I guess, picture a shorter version of me without the glasses and with my hair in some dumb braid or another, in a handbok, and that's pretty much it. I never really got to dress up the way I wanted to. Even this is the first time I've been able to wear my school uniform since I was 13, before I got put in stasis. How silly is that, being excited about wearing a uniform? And I mean, you know how much I was into cosplay. I never really had a chance for that when I was alive. Why do you even ask? What are you thinking? We look good. Oh, well, thank you. Anyway, we should really get back to the more serious stuff, don't you think? Right. Well, remember when I said that I'd never interrupt you unless there was something really, really wrong? Because that's annoying, and I don't want to bother you, but... Look, I don't want to scare you here, but this isn't your fault, but we have a really big problem. I'm sure you've noticed that static on this line, yes? I was wondering what was causing that, so I checked, and it's... Well, look, don't panic here, please. But it's a reactor meltdown in progress. I'm really sorry, we've been running in low power mode for so long, that was fine. But when you established communications, everything started to back up again. Which should have been fine, except it's been centuries since the last maintenance job was done, and I'm not really sure what's wrong yet. I'm not going to lie to you, this is bad. This is really, really bad. I don't know if you're really aware of how this works, but we're running on nuclear fission. And it looks like we've got about 20 minutes before total meltdown. It's already running really, really hot right now. I wish I'd noticed sooner, I'm so sorry. But well, let me put it this way. The ship is about 20 minutes away from exploding. Can you make it out of range within 20 minutes? Yes. Well, please, don't try just yet. I can't shut it down on my own. A human has to do it. Even if you can, don't run away on me. Don't just... Please, you'll help me, right? Yes. Oh, I knew you wouldn't let me down. Of course you'll help. Thank you so very much. You're a regular hero. Thank you. Now let me explain what you'll have to do. What I'll need you to do is to drop the terminal and disable the nuclear reactor. If everything's working properly, it should be that simple. I mean, I'm sure it won't be. This is a really old ship, and clearly already one thing has gone horribly wrong. Anyway, your first step is to at least try. Hey, Zozo. What's up, baby girl? Oh. Or did you try already? Ah! Curses. Of course it wouldn't be that simple. Very well. Let me try to take account of the ship's system, see if I can figure out what's stopping you. Ah, that's pretty bad. Right, very well, I know what the problem is. So here's the thing. There are two power systems on the ship. One's the nuclear reactor, the other is... well, it's called the power storage system. It doesn't really generate anything, it's just a battery, basically. That's what the ship's been running off, in low power mode, and that was fine. except restarting the communications totally drained it. Sweetheart. Hi, Zozo. Hi, Fuzzy Face. Geez, ship goes 600 years of just running me with no problem, but send a few radio signals and everything goes to hell. Anyway, I see what that error was now. If you turn the reactor off right now, everything will shut down, forever, because it can't fall back on the power storage system. But don't worry, don't panic. There's a backup. If you switch to that, it should be quite alright. Right, so all you have to do is switch the power storage system to use the secondary battery instead. Then you'll be able to disable the reactor safely.